beautiful sight to look around, to see your faces, to know the stories that are here. My heart has been so full today. Looking around, I see people who have been willing to be braver than they knew they could be, who have found within themselves a strength that exceeded what they knew was there. I see people who are willing to sit down over coffee and beer and whiskey with me a few years ago and dare to imagine that it was possible that Southern LGBTQ folks and allies in towns like Asheville and Greenville, South Carolina, and Morristown, Tennessee, and Petal, Mississippi, and Wilson, North Carolina, and Bakersville, North Carolina, Tupelo, Mississippi, were ready to stand up and say, this is my home, and this is who I am. And I have been told my whole life I should live in the shadows and hide who I am, but I am ready, here and now, to tell my story. People who are ready to believe that if we did that together, not once, not twice, but again and again and again, it could start a new conversation in the South about the reality that 1/3 of all LGBT Americans call the South home and are not going anywhere.
Yeah!
We're willing to believe that if we could do this and show up again and again and again, we could start a new conversation in our country about the reality that we can never leave the South behind when it comes to civil rights. And in fact, the reality as we head into the 21st century, that the South is poised to lead us forward when it comes to civil rights. I look out today and I see people who have lost people who did not get here with us, and their spirits are with us today. This fight has been going on for decades and decades and decades, and it has involved people believing that the truth within themselves had to be expressed. It has involved people believing that our nation, as fragile as it can be, as flawed as it can be, is also capable of transformation. And that with each generation, we have the opportunity to push our country one step further towards the promise that all children will be equal, that all people will be equal under the law, and that in every single sphere of our life, we will be afforded dignity and safety and the freedom to be who we truly are. Today's ruling is the culmination of years of work in the courts. Our friends from the ACLU of North Carolina are here, and they need a big hand. In churches and over kitchen tables and in PFLAG chapters and GSAs. All of these strategies coming together with hope, with belief, with a vision of what is possible. As Megan said, as Terry said, as Carmen said, as I will now say, our work is so far from over. Part of our challenge as Americans is to let our hearts be big enough to celebrate the joy of a day like this, and also to feel the grief of Charleston today.
Amen.
Part of our work as Americans is to be ever vigilant about challenging laws and policies we know to be unjust. Whether it is causing the unlawful detention of transgender undocumented people, whether it is resulting in police brutality targeting young men of color, whether it is racist violence and too easy access to guns, all of this is connected by a shared concern with human dignity and freedom and the ability for us to be who we are and to be safe in our private lives. with us again and again and again, and people have been showing up, and we need to make sure we are showing up as well. There's so much work to be done. And if you look across the whole nation, North Carolina affords us the opportunity today to do both. To celebrate, to rest secure finally as LGBT people here in the knowledge that our families are safe and protected, and also the work we have yet to do. As citizens, we stand here today in the center of Asheville, yes, and also in the shadow of a monument to the Confederacy. Yes. What better embodies the tension of being alive right now and calling for civil rights and equality in this context and the work we have yet to do? Let's not be afraid of that. Let's not be afraid of that conversation. Let's not be afraid to put our shoulder to the wheel and keep going. The conversation will be hard sometimes, and that's okay. Guess what? We can handle it.
Yep.
I bet you've had a hard conversation before in your life. We can handle it. We're ready for that. Moving forward with the Campaign for Southern Equality, we're going to ask you to stay in it with us. Be more involved than you've ever been. This is not the time to turn away. This is the time to show up in every single election as a voter. If you have thought about running for office, this is the time to get serious about running. If you have thought about starting that conversation, this is the time to do it. We can't be afraid to lose. We can't not show up because we might lose. Laws depend on it, lives depend on it, the future of our country depends on it. We are, as Lindsay said, getting in a car to head down to Mississippi over the weekend to make sure that same-sex couples can marry in every single of the 82 counties across that state.
Right.
We're going to ask you to stay with us and keep that pressure on and keep telling that story from the Deep South until we reach that goal. And then we're going to ask you to be with us each and every step of the way, moving forward as we push for equality and justice in every sphere of life. And as we keep pushing for the dignity and equality and safety of people to be recognized, whatever our race, whatever our gender, whatever our sexual orientation.